What can I get for you two? Ita Makoto, who was with me, said to the waitress, bring us a hot pot, 2 plates of fatty beef. Make the portions generous, don't skimp right from the start. A plate of fish tofu, a mixed platter of vegetables for dipping, a bottle of bulk liquor, and a gene of hand-pulled noodles. After writing it down, the waitress subconsciously looked at me. Anything else? And bring us the lady boss too. Make sure she isn't all bundled up when she comes out. We want to hold her while we eat. Ita Makoto slammed the table and gave a thumbs up. Now that's authentic. That's beautiful. The waitress looked thoroughly exasperated. Are you two here to cause trouble? Just then, a girl wearing a black short-sleeved top and denim shorts sat down next to me, crossed her legs, dangling a slipper from her left foot, and swinging it. I'm not too bundled up, am I? Didn't you want to hold me while you eat? Don't be shy. As she spoke, she reached for my hand. My face instantly turned red. I quickly pulled my hand back and stood up from my seat. Sorry, lady boss, I was just kidding. The girl crossed her arms. Got no guts? Then why act like a hooligan? Ita Makoto also lowered his head, took out a 100 yuan bill. Please don't misunderstand. We lost a dare. You don't need to bring the food we ordered. This is compensation. I nodded quickly. Yes, yes, yes. We're really sorry. Saying this, I put Ita's money on the table, tugged his arm, signaling him to leave quickly. After we went outside, a bunch of our mischievous friends were around the corner, recording us with their phones, laughing so hard they couldn't stand straight. The next day, I left home yawning and ran into a familiar face. My jaw nearly dropped. It was actually the lady boss from the hot pot restaurant yesterday. After confirming I wasn't mistaken, I pretended not to recognize her, hoping to slip past. Unexpectedly, she called out to me, Hey, aren't you the guy who caused trouble at my place last night? I quickly turned around. Miss, you must have the wrong person. I was home all night yesterday, didn't go out. Gu Beicheng. She actually knew my name. It's over, it's over. Is she going to call the police on me? She walked up to me. I recognized you last night. You don't recognize me? I looked her up and down. I really had no impression of her. I could only give an awkward smile. You live here too. She snorted. You really forgot me, you heartbreaker. You said you'd marry me when we grew up. I froze. That line, I think I heard a mother of two say it on some #1 Under Heaven show. Are you the Bull Demon King's daughter? She punched me lightly on the chest. And you're Zhu Beiji's son? Why is this girl hitting and cursing right off the bat? So uncivilized. What did I do to provoke her? Just as I was about to ask for clarification, she had already turned and walked away. I didn't have the courage to follow her, because it seemed like I couldn't afford to offend her. Someone I promised to marry when I grew up? I racked my brain. There were way too many. When I was in kindergarten, it was uncanny. In a small class of over 40 kids, there were only 8 boys. The rest were girls. Back then, when we played house, you could say I was a groom almost every day, with a different bride each time. Girls even competed with each other for the chance to marry me. Nothing like now, a total washout with women, surrounded only by guys. It seems I ate too well in childhood, and now there's nothing left to eat. Today, we landed a big project. The team leader said he'd treat us, and everyone suggested hot pot. The more I looked at the restaurant, the more familiar it seemed. Can we switch to another place? The team leader, who was also driving, asked puzzledly, Why switch? This place has high ratings. I've already bought a set meal package. My stomach hasn't been feeling great lately. I can't handle spicy food. A male colleague beside me said, No problem then. We'll get a yuanyang pot. The group entered energetically. The team leader requested a private room. I sneaked a peek around. The lady boss wasn't there. Good. We'll eat quickly and get out. Come on, let's go mix our dipping sauces. I laughed awkwardly. Just help me make a dipping sauce, that's fine. You're so lazy. We were eating when we heard constant noise outside. My colleagues went out to see what was going on. But I happen to be someone who dislikes crowds and commotion. While they were out, I seized the chance to cook and eat more than half a plate of beef tripe by myself. Just then, I saw the familiar figure of the owner hurry past. It was a restaurant. She definitely had to intervene. On impulse, I got up and followed her. From the shouting, I gathered that 2 tables seated close together had somehow gotten into a verbal conflict. It started with throwing food at each other, and somehow escalated to physical blows. The owner was standing between the 2 tables of customers, trying her best to mediate. At that moment, I saw a male customer pick up the hot pot broth. I immediately rushed over, pulled the owner back, and shielded her with my body. The scalding broth poured over me, causing excruciating pain. It was the middle of summer. Luckily, the waiter, seeing the argument, had turned off the heat beforehand. I was also wearing a long-sleeved shirt. Otherwise, I definitely would have been scarred. Even so, blisters formed, began leaking yellow fluid, and my skin started peeling severely. The doctor diagnosed it as mild second-degree burns. The man who splashed me was caught. He compensated for everything: medical expenses, lost wages, convalescence costs, and subsequent recovery fees. Not a single cent was missed. The owner personally stayed with me at the hospital. During that time, I could only lie on my stomach. Even the slightest touch on my back caused immense pain. My colleagues called me a hero for saving the damsel in distress and wanted to make me a model employee at the company. Ito Makoto and a bunch of my mischievous friends came to visit. But as soon as they saw the owner, they'd just say a few quick words and flee. The owner's name was Sun Yinshu. She claimed she had bought me for 3 yuan. I was completely baffled. She explained that when we were little, all the girls in our class wanted to marry me. I had declared that I would marry whoever gave me the most treats. Sun Yinshu then gave me all her pocket money, a total of 3 yuan. Right then and there, I announced to all the kids that Sun Yinshu would be my wife from then on, that I would only marry her, whether now or in the distant future, come what may. After finishing her story, Sun Yinshu looked at me expectantly. Remember now? I smiled sheepishly. I remember the song title. Seeing her displeased expression, I quickly changed the subject. How did you find my place? She blinked her large eyes. Your mom told me. I froze, almost bolting upright in bed. My mom. The nurse reminded me. Please keep your voice down in the hospital room. That day, your mom came to my place for a meal with a group of her old friends. One of her friends asked why you weren't married yet. I grunted. And what did my mom say? She said you brought a wife home very young, but now that you're older, you never mention it anymore. She still remembers that? Sun Yinshu chuckled. Not just your mom. I bet even the kindergarten principal back then remembers. You insisted on taking me home, saying I was your wife, and that wives should sleep with their husbands. My parents were busy back then and worried about who would pick me up from school, so they agreed. Agreed? They actually agreed? Did that really happen? She couldn't have made that up, could she? I suddenly remembered something. Don't change the subject. I was asking why my mom told you where I live. I gave him the meal in the house, so your mom told me. Then you showed up the very next evening. I thought your mom had sent you. Oh, Mom, for a hot pot meal. Seriously? Even with the ointment, my back still burned fiercely. Just then, Sun Yinshu leaned close to my ear and sang softly. Dark, dark sky hangs low. Fireflies fly. Fireflies fly. Who are you thinking of? I was utterly speechless. Do you really think we're still kindergarten kids? She blinked her sparkling eyes. Back then, whenever I missed my parents and couldn't sleep, you'd always sing this to help me fall asleep. I put on a woeful expression. You couldn't sleep because you miss your parents. I can't sleep because it hurts, Carrot. How is that the same? She suddenly tilted her head and kissed me. Will this make it feel better? I felt my face flush even hotter than my back. Since graduating kindergarten, no woman besides my mom had ever gotten that close to my face, let alone touched it with her lips. My mom usually used her hand, and she hit hard. If I weren't an only child, I'd have sworn she was my stepmother. She looked at me. Why aren't you saying anything? Does it hurt badly? Shamelessly, I asked. Can I have another one? I didn't quite register it the first time. Blushing, she nodded and kissed me again. After that kiss, I'd already figured out where the two of us would be buried. Thanks to Sun Yinshu's attentive care, the injury that should have taken 2 weeks to heal got better in just 1, and I could be discharged from the hospital. My mom probably didn't even know, let alone my dad. To celebrate my discharge, Ida Makoto and a bunch of my buddies arranged a meal. So, tell us, how did you meet that proprietress? Did you sneak back to see her that night? Annoyed, I slapped the table and said in a low voice, it all began in the last years of the Northern Song Dynasty. Hold it. If you've got the guts, do that bit about. Ita Makoto looked at the other guys. I can't remember it. I pressed 2 fingers together, furrowed my brow, widened my eyes, and began, "If the elders of the land can tolerate me, I shan't let." Boo! The audience, my buddies, roared with laughter at my antics. Good times are always fleeting. The dinner with my buddies ended. They said I could pick the place for the next round, but I told them I was tired and transferred them 1,000 yuan to make up for it. Then I went to the hot pot restaurant. Business was slow today, perhaps because it was late. Soon Yinshu was playing on her phone. Hearing someone enter, she looked up, ready to say welcome, but when she saw it was me, a wide smile spread across her face, uncontainable. "What? Lost a dare again? What are you ordering this time?" Smiling, I leaned halfway over the counter. "How about making some hangover soup, proprietress?" Soon Yinshu rolled her eyes at me. "No hangover soup. How about a slap in the face instead?" "No thanks, because he's kind." "Ha ha, cough cough cough." A guy at the next table, seemingly unsure what the joke was, laughed so hard that the instant noodles he'd just put in his mouth came out through his nose. The woman across from him, drinking milk tea, saw this and burst out laughing, spraying her tea all over his face. Soon Yinshu immediately ducked behind the counter, covering her mouth and shaking with suppressed laughter. It took her a while to straighten up, holding her sides. Seeing my deadpan expression, she asked curiously, "How come you're not laughing? Are you naturally poker-faced?" "I've had professional training. No matter how funny something is, I don't laugh." Just then, a voice drifted over from another table. "Unless you can't hold it in." Round 2. The poor guy who had just recovered got sprayed with milk tea all over again. The woman, meanwhile, was pounding the table, laughing and apologizing profusely, though making no move to help the guy clean himself up. If this had been a blind date, it would have been doomed. Soon Yinshu patted her chest, wiping tears from her eyes. "You just wait. I'll go make you that hangover soup." I wave her off. "No need. I'm wide awake now." Soon Yinshu looked at me curiously. "I've noticed you really don't laugh much. What do you do for a living?" I clear my throat. "I'm a lawyer." The guy got sprayed in the face again. Even so, he didn't leave or tell the woman off. If she wasn't his creditor, it must have been true love. I glanced curiously at the woman. I couldn't shake the feeling she was doing it on purpose. Is there something funny about me being a lawyer? She clasped her hands together. "Sorry, buddy. It's just whenever I hear you speak, especially when you're being all serious, I just want to laugh. I really can't hold it in." Meanwhile, Sun Yinshu pulled me behind the counter. "So you're a lawyer? No wonder those guys paid you so much compensation and covered the damages to my shop too." I waved dismissively. That was mostly my team leader's work. It was all handled in the same court proceedings, just took care of it along the way. After the hot pot restaurant closed, we held hands and strolled down the street. The streetlights stretched our shadows long and thin, and she took out her phone to snap a picture. We both lived relatively close by and both own our homes. I walked her to her doorstep, where she stood on her tiptoes and kissed me. "Want to come up for a bit? It's so late. Wouldn't that be inappropriate?" She let out an "oh," turned, and went upstairs. I waited until her lights turned on. Then she opened the window, and we waved at each other. "Good night." In the alley, I heard someone calling for help. Faint, but unmistakably a woman's voice. I followed the sound, and suddenly, a menacing-looking man jumped out. "Mind your own business, scram." Beside him was a disheveled girl, her clothes torn, bruises on her skin, missing a shoe. In broad daylight. No, under the clear night sky. How dare you commit such evil? There were two of them, armed. Just me, unarmed, fresh out of prison with second-degree burns. It should have been a hopeless fight, but fate intervened. A patrol car from the Enforcement Bureau appeared, sending the two fleeing in panic. I reported the incident and helped the girl give her statement. When I learned she was none other than Emperor Ruyan, I was instantly awed. Truly, an unbreakable Lu Ruyan. If the books don't have you, I won't read them. When the enforcer asked for my name, I proudly said, "Call me Red Scarf." The officer frowned. "No time for jokes. Your real name?" I answered honestly, Gu Beicheng. Occupation, lawyer, Xianbei Victory Law Firm. After signing the statement, Lu Ruyan followed me out to thank me. I waved it off. No need. Fighting evil is every citizen's right and duty. Lu Ruyan pulled out a tissue and a tube of lipstick. "My phone's broken. Can I get your contact info?" I patted my pockets and pulled out a business card. "If you really want to thank me, Just send me a commendation banner. Best around 9 a.m. That's when we're busiest. When I got home, I saw Sun Yinchu had sent me a bunch of messages, mostly asking if I'd made it back and why I was ignoring her. I told her about the night's events. She praised me, calling me amazing and brave, then reminded me to be careful next time. What if there hadn't been any enforcers around? We talked until my eyelids grew heavy, and only then did she reluctantly hang up. The next day, Sun Yinchu showed up early at my door, wearing flawless makeup. Seeing her bright-eyed energy, I asked, "Do you even sleep?" She lifted a lunchbox. I woke up early to make red bean porridge, a reward for our heroic do-gooder. Looking at the warm, sticky red bean and barley porridge, I teased, "Wife, these aren't just any red beans, are they?" "Of course not. They're from Long Way's poetry." "Wait, what did you call me?" I took a spoonful and grinned. "Wife, you said you bought me for $3. Call me that since we were kids. 20 years without hearing it. Must feel weird now." Her face flushed. "Ugh, even porridge can't shut you up." I held the spoon to her lips. "Oh, still shy." She parted her lips slightly, but I pulled the spoon back and ate it myself. "Just wanted you to blow on it for me." The look in her eyes shifted. If earlier it was tender affection, now it was pure murder. No, not just murder, 6-horse dismemberment. One less wouldn't do the job right. After breakfast, I drove her to her shop. Yes, I own a car, a barely used commuter vehicle. The tank I filled 2 years ago still had gas by the start of autumn this year, down just one notch. Either it's restricted half the week, or there's nowhere to park when I do take it out. Today, though, I drove it. Not to show off to Sun Yinchu, but because I had a long trip ahead to gather evidence. The case was clear, just lacking crucial evidence, so the client hired me to make a trip. Back at the law firm after finishing up, the young receptionist said a very pretty girl had been waiting for me all day, refused to leave, probably had a case only I could handle. "She's in the meeting room now." Lawyer G treated her to lunch. "Very pretty? How pretty?" The receptionist thought for a moment. If she made short videos, none would get less than 10,000 likes. "That's pretty then. I should go take a look quickly." In the meeting room, a graceful back appeared before me. Such smooth, fair skin on her back. A shame not to get cupping done on it. I pushed open the glass door. She stood up and turned around. "Lu Ruyan. Gu Beichong." I shook her hand, delicate, soft, boneless. "You really came?" "Sorry, I had something to attend to outside today." "You must have been waiting anxiously." Lu Ruyan shook her head. "It's all right. I can wait however long it takes. Thank you for last night." I looked around. No sign of a silk banner. I felt a little disappointed. "You waited for me all day. Surely not just to say thank you?" "Of course not. I also wanted to ask Lawyer Gu for a small favor." "Sure." I charge based on the scale of the case. Consultations are billed by the minute. "I'm not hiring you for a lawsuit. It's something else." "Something else?" I was a bit surprised. What else would someone need a lawyer's help for? "Tell me about it first. I might not be able to help. Can you pretend to be my boyfriend for a week? I can pay you 1,000 a day." Rian the Great is indeed generous. I really had no reason to refuse. "Can I ask for the details?" "My parents want me to go abroad and live with them. I told them I have a boyfriend, so now they're coming back to see. Their flight lands tonight." I voiced my confusion. "Why lie to your parents? Isn't going abroad good?" Lu Rian nodded. "Because I still prefer my own country." "Then why not tell them the truth, instead of using the boyfriend excuse?" She fidgeted with the hem of her skirt. "They think I'm all alone here with no one to rely on. They worry. If I have a boyfriend, things would be different." "I understood. 1 week, right? No problem. But let's be clear up front. You have to pay for any expenses incurred during this period. Even if I pay initially, you have to reimburse me afterwards. If you agree, we can sign a contract." She took out a gold card and waved it. "No problem. Here's the card. Deduct all expenses from it." After signing the contract, I drove Lu Ruyan to Terminal 3. Sun Yinchu sent me a message, asking if I was going to her shop for dinner tonight. I replied that I'd just taken on a big job, had to go on a business trip for a week with a daily allowance of 1,000 and transferred her 5,200 directly. Sun Yinchu told me not to work too hard and to take care of myself. The flight didn't arrive until 1 in the morning. I had fallen asleep in the car. It was Lu Ruyan who woke me up. Lu Ruyan's parents were full of energy, showing no signs of jet lag. I drove them to their hotel, the Kempinski. I didn't ask why they weren't going straight home. Since Lou Rian was paying, I didn't mind the expense at all. But such an expensive hotel only had 2 vacant rooms. Seems there are still plenty of rich people around. Lou Rian's father asked what I did for work. I answered truthfully, and he nodded with satisfaction. Her mother asked what kind of cases I usually handled. I scratched my head, a bit embarrassed. Our team mainly handles major criminal cases and related civil lawsuits. Of course, we take on other small cases too, but not many. Saying this meant there wasn't much more to discuss about work, as most people don't encounter these types of cases. Her mother asked how long Lou Rian and I had known each other. I left this question for Lou Rian. I couldn't possibly say we'd only met last night. Lou Rian blushed. We've known each other for almost a year. Father Lou asked Lou Rian, how did you two meet? Since they had no real connection, Lou Rian moved the story of how they met back to last year. This made the old couple's hearts pound, and they kept saying it was lucky I was there. After getting them settled in, the old couple hadn't eaten yet. The Kempinskis served German roasted meats for supper. Not many people were eating. Father Lou asked if I had work the next day. Lou Rian jumped in, saying I had taken a week off specifically to accompany them. Both were very happy. Father Lou asked about my drinking capacity. I said it was average. I could only handle some beer. Father Lou was delighted, saying the beer here was brewed in-house and tasted great. Anyway, someone on my salary couldn't afford this, so I'd make the most of this meal. The two of us drank heartily, neither willing to back down. Mother Lou didn't try to stop us. Lou Rian just said to enjoy ourselves. 2 waiters helped me back to the room, while Father Lou, hiccuping from the alcohol and patting his stomach, said I still needed practice. Drinking too much beer makes you need to pee a lot. Lou Rian was showering in the bathroom and taking forever. I was anxiously pacing back and forth. She emerged wrapped in a bath towel and asked me what was wrong. I couldn't hold it anymore. Barefoot, I rushed in, slipped, and fell right into Lou Rian's arms, pinning her underneath me. Luckily, I wasn't heavy, and there was carpet underneath. Otherwise, I couldn't have afforded the damages. After relieving myself, she asked why I didn't just go in, as the bathroom wasn't locked. I stared at her in disbelief. Do you hear yourself? You were showering in there, and I should just walk in? Wouldn't you call the police on me? Lou Rian blushed. Why would I? Whether you would or not is your business. I'm a law-abiding citizen. We have an employment relationship. My terms of service don't include selling my body. Seeing she was about to say something, I added, not even for extra money. She pointed to the bathroom. Aren't you going to wash up? You reek of alcohol. I looked at the semi-transparent bathroom glass. No, I'm afraid someone might have improper intentions. Lou Rian laughed. You're really cute. You said yourself we have an employment relationship. That makes me the client, and you, the contractor, need to provide good service, which especially includes maintaining personal hygiene. She had a point. All right, but you can't peek, and definitely no photos or videos, or I'll sue you. I'm a professional, you know. With apprehension, I quickly washed up. When I came out, she asked if I was clean. Why was I done so quickly? I retorted irritably. I think it's clean enough. Outside, dawn was breaking. Sun Yinshu sent me a video call request early in the morning. I took it hiding in the hallway, saying my colleague was in the room and it wasn't convenient to talk. After hanging up, I felt a sense of guilt like I was having an affair. Back in the room, Lou Rian was playing on her phone. Girlfriend, checking up on you? None of your business. What's the plan for today? She thought for a moment. We're tired of all the scenic spots. Do you have any good recommendations? I replied grumpily. My recommendation is for your parents to go back early. Just meeting once should be enough. Why insist on staying the full 7 days? It's not May Day or National Day. Lou Rian stood up, hands on her hips. My parents miss their daughter. Can't they spend a few extra days with her? I quickly covered my eyes and turned away. Miss Lou, watch yourself. Don't actually treat me like your boyfriend. You'll be the one losing out. That figure. Once you saw it, you couldn't look away. There's a popular mythology game event recently. I quickly booked tickets. The farther from here, the better. If I ran into someone I knew, it would be really hard to explain. Lou Rian's parents liked my arrangements, but suggested meeting my parents first. I refused, using the excuse that they were busy with work. My dad really was busy, and my mom, well, she was busy too, sort of. Ita Makoto sent me a message asking where I was. I replied that I just got back to work. Suddenly, someone tapped my shoulder. I turned around and met Itu Makoto's gaze. Uh-huh. So going out and having fun is your work? I really didn't expect to run into him here. What are you doing here too? Just then, Father and Mother Lu walked over. Little Goo, who is this? My childhood friend, Itu Makoto. Itu Makoto looked Father and Mother Lu up and down, a look of realization dawning on him. You must be Gu Beiching's future parents-in-law. A pleasure, a pleasure. I quickly tugged at his pant leg, afraid he would let something slip. Meanwhile, Lu Rian, holding some local specialties, linked her arm through mine and curiously sized up Itu Makoto. Neither of them spoke. The silence was deafening. I quickly broke the silence. It's really fate bumping into you here. I heard the local noodle dishes are famous. Come on, it's my treat, my treat. I whispered in Lu Rian's ear, my childhood friend, Itu Makoto. Then I sent Itu Makoto a message. Contract girlfriend Lu Rian. Known her for a year, don't blow our cover. Itu Makoto replied with a mischievous grin. V500, or I'm going back to eat hot pot every single day. Father and Mother Lu asked Itu Makoto what he did for a living. He put away his selfie stick, closed his live stream interface, and said, I'm a streamer. I mostly focus on food, but sometimes I film travel content too. Father Lu asked curiously, your little Gu's childhood friend, yet you don't know my daughter? Itu Makoto scratched his head. I only knew he had a girlfriend he'd been seeing for about a year. He treasures her so much, he wouldn't even let us meet her. I'd only seen photos, so I didn't immediately recognize her in person. Seeing how beautiful she is, I thought maybe he got a new one. Lu Rian blushed, whispering softly in my ear. Where did you meet this friend of yours? He certainly knows what to say. Scrolling through short videos? Let's go. We won't get a table if we wait. Lunch featured distinct local specialties. Guayu roe, sweet and sour meatballs, hui kai, copper hot pot, followed by various noodle-based dishes like wantua, guanchong, zhu bing, yugao. We ate so much we felt sleepy afterwards. Luckily, we had booked a hotel in advance to rest. Otherwise, we really wouldn't have found a place to stay. It was incredibly busy. Itu Makoto bid us farewell and left with his cameraman for their next destination. I suggested getting 3 rooms, but Lu Rian adamantly refused. We got 2 rooms last night, and now you want 3 today? Are you trying to make my parents suspicious? Left with no choice, I had to agree. Lu Rian seemed to be genuinely treating me like her boyfriend. She'd give me food she couldn't finish, ask me to carry her when she was tired of walking, insist I take flattering photos of her at every scenic spot, and even make me massage her aching feet. I put up with it all for the money. It's just that Sun Yinshu, who had been in frequent contact just days before, suddenly stopped. My messages to her went mostly unanswered, or she'd reply with just a word or two. She didn't pick up my calls or respond to video chat requests. I figured it was peak tourist season, so maybe she was just busy. Yesterday, I even saw an influencer doing a shop exploration video at her place. It was so crowded people were queuing up. Besides, with the clingy Lu Rian around, I decided I'd make it up to Sun Yinshu properly after these 7 days were over. That evening, Father Lu poured me a glass of Finjo wine. Little Gu, what do you plan on marrying Rian? Cough, cough, cough. This wine is quite strong. Lu Rian blushed and remained silent. No matter how I nudged her under the table, she didn't react, except to reach out and pinch the top of my thigh. My dad asked you a question. I gave an awkward laugh. Uncle, I'm really focused on building my career right now, so. Father Lu cut me off. Your auntie and I only have Rian. I have a little money, not a lot, but when you two get married, I'll sponsor you to open your own law firm. Then you can focus on rising through the ranks however you like. What do you say? Thank you for the generous offer, Uncle, but I don't think I have the ability to run my own law firm just yet. Father Lu waved dismissively. Don't worry about that. Young people need to be bold and try things. How will you know you can't handle it if you don't give it a shot? I felt even more awkward. But what if it fails and loses money? Mother Lu smiled and said, it's normal to have gains and losses in business. If you lose money, I'll sponsor you to start over. With the experience of losing the first time, it won't be so easy to lose again. I raised my glass and downed it in one go. Uncle, Andy, I still want to rely on my own efforts. I don't want my peers in the industry to say I'm a kept man. Without even that much backbone, How could I have the face to marry Lu Ruyan? Father Lu's tightly furrowed brow relaxed. It's good for young people to have backbone. Uncle just wants you to avoid taking detours for a dozen or so years. Life is short. Why not take a shortcut if there's one? I raised my glass again and downed it in one go. The purpose of life isn't to reach the destination, but to appreciate the beauty along the way. Whoa! I drank too quickly. My stomach churned violently, and quite a bit came back up. My throat felt awful, especially the taste of the vomit, which made me throw up again. Getting drunk once a day, I've really done my best. When I opened my eyes, my throat felt tight, and I desperately wanted water. But Lu Ruyan was clinging to me tightly like an octopus, as if I might run away. I patted her back. She blinked her eyes, but showed no signs of waking up. I shifted my body slightly, feeling the movement was too awkward. Finally, she woke up. After getting out of bed, I opened the fridge, took out a bottle of drink, and chugged it down. I didn't notice Lu Ruyan blushing, wiping the drool I'd left on her face. A king-size bedroom, only one blanket. My clothes, they got dirty from vomit and were sent to be laundered. They'll be delivered tomorrow morning. I said, "Oh, you go ahead and sleep then. I'll look at my phone." I sat on the stool at the foot of the bed, leaning against the armrest. Waking up from a hangover, I felt surprisingly energetic, not sleepy at all. Lu Ruyan suddenly leaned closer. "How about we make this pretend relationship real?" I quickly got up. "Definitely not. Leaving aside the fact I have a girlfriend, just look at your family status. We're really not well matched. I couldn't possibly aspire to marry into your family." Lu Ruyan looked aggrieved. "My family is just an ordinary family." "Right, if your family is ordinary, then mine is practically destitute. Let's absolutely not talk about this, or I'll run off to the South Station tonight and carry a train away." Lu Ruyan snorted, wrapped herself in the blanket, and went to sleep. The next morning, we tasted a delicacy called tu now. How to put it? Okay. I didn't eat it, so I can't describe it. Lu Ruyan couldn't describe it either. Having a bowl of lamb soup to warm the stomach was quite nice too. 7 days passed quickly. Father Lu and Mother Lu were quite satisfied with me. The only regret was not meeting my parents to finalize the marriage arrangements. Watching the international flight take off, I turned to Lu Ruyan and said, "Miss Lu, our contract officially expires now. Goodbye." "Wait." I turned around. Lu Ruyan suddenly threw herself in my arms, hugged my waist tightly, stood on her tiptoes, and kissed me. I couldn't even push her away. "Miss Lu, I should go." She buried her head in my chest. "No, I can't bear to part with you." Lu Ruyan held onto me tightly. I patted her back. "Why are you doing this? The author didn't plan for us to be a couple in this episode. You're making it impossible for him to write. Maybe next episode he'll switch to Shun Yue, Yu Xuanji, and that lot." Returning from the airport, eager to get back, I headed straight for the hot pot restaurant. 4 big characters facing me stunned me. Prime shop for lease transfer. I sent Sun Yinshu a WeChat message, got a red exclamation mark. Called her, the line was busy, asked me to call back later. I called the number listed under the shop for lease transfer sign. A man answered, "Hello, how can I help you?" "It's the hot pot restaurant, that's for transfer, right?" "That's right. Would you like to see it, sir? It used to be a very popular place, a very valuable investment." "How soon can you get here?" 20 minutes. I grunted. "Okay, I'll wait." From the receiver came 19, 18, 17. The countdown finished, but no one appeared before me. "Sir, you haven't hung up yet?" I was completely baffled. "Then why were you counting down?" "I was doing aerobics." I flared up. "Are you crazy?" The person on the other end said calmly, "Lawyer Gu, please don't resort to insults first. Anyway, you aren't renting it, so what's wrong with waiting a bit longer?" I was greatly shocked inside. "You know me. Not only do I know you, I also know Lu Ruyan." My brow furrowed. "Who are you?" "An outstanding real estate agent, and also a seasoned short video enthusiast." My face hardened. "I'm definitely renting this shop. How soon can you get here?" The other end hung up directly. Just as I was about to call back, an electric scooter pulled up beside me. "Lawyer Gu, I've heard so much about you." I pointed at the lock on the door. "Skip the pleasantries. Open the door, I want to see what it's like inside." "You're a lawyer. Why are you looking at a hot pot restaurant? Does your girlfriend like to eat it, so you're renting one to make her happy? Where the hell do you get off spouting So much nonsense. Haven't you ever been complained about? Unhurriedly, he took out 3 key rings from his bag. See? Getting impatient again. Don't I need to find the key? This one's too big. This one's too small. This one's too long. Just hurry up and open it. Let me do it. I snatched the 3 key rings and looked for a key that resembled the keyhole on the door lock. If only I'd known earlier. I lost my patience. You're an agent. Instead of helping find the key, you're just making sarcastic remarks. Huh? Wait. I spun around abruptly. It was actually Sun Yinshu. I threw the key rings aside and rushed over to hug her, but she dodged me. The agent picked up the key rings. Why are you taking out all my keys? Is there some misunderstanding between us? Sun Yinshu looked at me. A misunderstanding? I don't think it a misunderstanding. I told you. That was just a case I took on. I've never done anything to betray you, I swear. Saying this, I raised 3 fingers, but she grabbed my hand. Intimate strolling at Little West Heaven, passionate embracing at the hanging monastery, and intense kissing at the airport. These weren't seen on just one person's account. Her face was cold. Is this also part of your job as a great lawyer? I panicked because I knew those things weren't fake. There really were reasons for that. Just forgive me this once. I'll never take on cases like that again, okay? The agent standing nearby made a TSK sound. Oh, the things men say. I snorted and turned to look at him. Nobody will think you're mute if you don't speak. As if you're not a man yourself. Sun Yinshu held out her hand. You give me back 3 yuan, and I'll give you back your freedom. Then you can be with whoever you want. It will have nothing to do with me. The agent took out 3 coins. Lawyer Gu, if you don't have it, I can lend it to you. I yelled at the agent, get lost, and rushed over to throw the 3 coins into the shrubbery. The agent looked unfazed. See? Impatient again. Then I went back to Sun Yinshu's side. See? I can't produce 3 yuan either. I'm destined to be yours for this lifetime. Sun Yinshu looked me up and down. Do you have proof? I instinctively looked at the agent. The agent looked baffled. Why are you looking at me? I really don't have that. I picked up the key ring, took off a metal ring, and knelt on one knee before Sun Yinshu. Yinshu, will you marry me? The agent chimed in from the side. Marry him, marry him. This instantly attracted a circle of onlookers who, under the agent's lead, chanted in unison, marry him, marry him. Sun Yinshu, blushing, held out her left hand. I slipped the key ring onto her ring finger, stood up, and embraced her. Great! Now we get free hot pot again. Hearing the voice, I looked over. Mom, what are you doing here? My mom gave an awkward laugh. I just finished dancing nearby and came over to see what was going on. Holding Sun Yinshu's hand, I strolled down the street. Even if you were upset, you shouldn't have sold the shop. What will you do now? She pointed across the street to a bigger hot pot restaurant with more unique decor. So I opened a new one. And she turned around, blinking her big eyes. Do you really want to marry me? Of course. You know the saying, what you are at 3, you are at 80. I liked you when I was just a kid, so of course I'll still like you when we're old. She pinched my lips. Such a smooth talker. How many girls did you practice that on? I said with a straight face. According to Article 266 of our country's criminal law, fraud involving a particularly large sum carries a sentence of 10 years to life imprisonment. You're 1,000 pieces of gold. Calculating at the current gold price, defrauding you would easily be enough to get me life. She threw herself into my arms. Who knew the law could be used like that? Well then, you'd better not deceive me in the future, or the law will show no mercy. I snapped to attention. Yes, my dear wife.